All right, what's going on, guys? Today I'm trying something a little different. I brought my buddy CA Sports on, and we're just going to talk about most underrated players for each of the teams in the North Division. So whether you're a Leafs fan, a Sens fan, a Jets fan, we got you covered here. But let me know if you guys like these podcast, hockey-style discussion videos, because then I'll post more of them on the channel. But if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. New hockey content every single day. And let me know what you guys want to see. I appreciate the criticism and the tips and stuff, so leave it down in the comments below and let's get right into it. Okay, so the first team I want to do, we're going to start with right off the bat. It's going to be the Ottawa Senators. Let's get it right out of the way right away. Who is your most underrated player for the Sens?
All right, so this one might be a bit like not many people think of it, but I'm picking Matt Murray. I think he's arguably the fourth or fifth best goalie in the North Division.
Wow, look at that. The fourth or fifth best goalie in the division? That means
Well,
he's ass, isn't it?
what? I don't think he's that bad. Like, dude, he's playing with like half a defense. Like, dude, I don't know what you want this guy to do. Like, he's keeping his team in the game like most nights.
For me, I'm going to go Drake Batherson. Now, I know this guy was playing on the quote-unquote first line for the Sens, which, if you ask me, like the Sens, they don't have a first line right now, okay?
Yeah, I think it's
But
a bunch of like fourth line just playing together.
oh, yeah, exactly. But that Batherson really surprised me. He's got the size, the skill, and the speed. He's not slow, dude. Like, he can actually play, and I think he might actually be a player.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Like the past couple of years, we've seen him in the league. Like he's been up and down the lineup, and like he's played in the AHL and the NHL like most seasons. So I'm sure this year is gonna be like his breakout year.
All right, let's move on. Let's try and jump through these relatively quickly.
I
Let's go over staying in Ontario, the Leafs.
All right. So for the Leafs, I got Willie Nylander as my pick for most underrated on the
Mhm.
team.
Why?
Uh, Well, first of all, he's second in scoring on the team. I bet you didn't know that. But like he always gets talked down because he's on the team with Matthews, Marner, Tavares. So like all these guys come first and then he's kind of left behind. So I think he's really good. The way he played against the Habs, like that's the only Leafs game I watched and he looked really good in that game and he made some plays. I saw like his highlight pass or whatever. Yeah,
My
yeah.
guy is gonna be Zach Hyman. This is like when somebody asks like the most underrated players, this is everybody's like marquee pick to look cool. But I'm going Zach Hyman. I just think he's such a plumber. But the thing is, when you're a plumber, and what I mean by that is like he's just a greasy player. He goes into the corners, he wins pucks battle, he's strong. He never takes a shift off. He's never lazy. But the thing about plumbers is that usually they're looked at as like they have stone hands. They can't do nothing in front of the net. But he's got skill. And I think he's such a great fit when he plays with Tavares or even Matthews there. I just think he's such a great compliment. Like, of course, he's not going to be your franchise. You're not building your franchise around Zach Hyman, but I just think he's such a great complimentary player, and I love him so much. All right, let's move along here. Let's move on to your Montreal Canadiens now. If you can't tell by the name or the accent, he's a Habs fan. So hit
Just a
us
little
with your
bit, just a
pick.
little bit of a Habs fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're the best team in the world every season for me.
Who's your pick?
All right, so my pick, this one for like non-Habs fan who haven't watched him a lot this year might come as a surprise, but I'm picking Jake Evans, the fourth line center. But I don't think that this guy on teams like Ottawa or like any other teams in the division would be on the fourth line as a center. The way he's played so far this season, he's one of the best penalty killers in the league. And also, like, I haven't seen him get scored on that much. Like, maybe once or twice in the whole season, and he's on the fourth line. He's like playing against some of the best guys sometimes. Like, you'll see, like, the Habs fourth line against, like, the first line for Vancouver or the Edmonton Oilers. He's on that line playing against Connor McDavid, Elias Pettersson, or whatever, and he's still like doing work. He's like killing time. He's not like letting them play their game or like giving them space. And I think he doesn't get enough credit because he's overshadowed by guys like Suzuki and Kotkaniemi, who are like higher draft pick. Like he was drafted like what, 7th round, and the other ones are like 1st round picks. So
I like that pick. I love that pick, and I love the reasoning behind it. I'm going a little bit off the board. I'm just kidding. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be Corey Perry.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
he
go
did.
Phillip Danault. Phillip Danault, and I know if you're in Montreal right now, you are rolling your eyes at me because you're saying, "Oh, Phillip Danault." We know he's elite, and Charles even said it to me earlier today. Like Phillip Danault is elite, and you can see even by just the contract offer that Bergevin gave him. What was it? It was like 5 years or something, 5 million. What was
Yeah, it
something like
was
that, right?
6 years, 5 million per year, like
Yeah,
30
like you
million
only give
contract.
that to elite players. Like Corey Perry's not getting that at this stage of his career. But Phillip Danault, like the more I watch him, and look, I understand, and I've heard it from Habs fans that Suzuki has more of the Bergeron comparisons, but I just see so much of Bergeron in Danault, and I just feel like he's so underrated because outside of Montreal, nobody puts the respect on his name that I think he deserves.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Dano's like one of the closest thing to like a Bergeron kind of player. Like he got what, 5th in the Selke Trophy nominations last year, which is nothing to scoff at. Like there's a fuck ton of forwards.
All right, so we did your team. Now let's do my team, the Calgary Flames. I'm gonna go first here, just to start it off. Okay. I need to tell you guys how much I love Michael Backlund. He's literally been a part of our franchise for what, 10, 11 years now. And every year, this guy is just Mr. Consistency. I love everything he does. Something about two-way centers that work their ass off. I just love it. I don't know what it is. Like Danault, Backlund, Lindholm, you could throw it in there now. He's a center, but that's something about Michael Backlund, and he's got skill. That's my thing. I don't like seeing NHL players who are absolute plugs, who just can't play. Okay, like Zach Ronaldo. I'm sorry, I don't like watching you play in the NHL. So, so that's why I love Michael Backlund. I feel like he's got the whole tool set, and he never seems to take a day off. Who do you got?
Uh for the Flames, I got Chris Tanev.
Oh yeah.
I think like he's really solid on the blue line. I haven't watched many games, but from what I've seen and from what you've told me, he's been like rock solid on that
Oh,
blue line. That's why I like these defensive forward, like defensemen, like Chris Tanev. Like he's always like at the right place at the right time, you know?
oh, he does all the work without getting any of the credit, and that's what I love
Exactly.
so much about him. And that's
Because he's not
exactly what
showing
you
up
said.
on the point sheet.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. I love it. Now let's move on to the Edmonton Oilers. And you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, you know these guys are like my little personal punching bags. And look, I got a soft spot for the Oilers. I watch pretty much every Oilers game because we get them here in Calgary. But let's go with you first. Who do you got as your most underrated player for the Oilers?
Right, so my most underrated player for the Oilers is gonna be Mike Smith. No, I'm just kidding. It's Darnell Nurse. I picked Darnell Nurse because, well, kind of for the same reason as Chris Tanev a little bit. Like he's not as good at his job, but like the guy's playing alone. Like he's the only defenseman that can actually stop a puck like from entering the zone. He's solid on his stick. He's a big body at the blue line. Like I've seen him throw the Habs around when like during that series against the Habs. And to me, during like when he played those 2 games against the Habs, he was the only defenseman on the Oilers team that was actually playing well.
Oh yeah, dude. I love that. I love that you brought up Mike Smith. Hey, go look up Mike Smith highlights on YouTube. I swear to God, watching Mike Smith, it's like if you dropped a live platypus onto a barbecue, and that's how Mike Smith plays hockey. I'm serious. But I
I
love
believe
it.
that. I believe that. It's
I
like
love
when you
what you
just
brought
like
up.
you're fishing, you pull out the fish out of the water, and he's just like flopping around. That's Mike Smith trying to make a save after mishandling the puck behind the net or some shit.
Exactly. It's exactly like that. And yeah, I love, by the way, for Darnell Nurse, Oilers fans, can you tell me, like, What's going on with Darnell Nurse's like eyebrow? Like every time I see him in an interview, he's missing like more of his left eyebrow. Have you seen that show?
I have not. I have not.
Go watch Darnell Nurse interviews, like Oilers fans. Can you like has he explained that or something? Is it like a condition or something? Anyways, let's jump. For me, I'm gonna go with Kailer Yamamoto just because, again, if you're in Edmonton, you're looking at this, you're saying, I knew that. He's a star. He's an absolute star, and he's tiny. He's really small, but he literally works like a dog with rabies. He's so on every puck. And again, he's to me the perfect player to be playing with Leon Draisaitl because he's got the speed, the skill, the talent, the hockey sense to work there. And his shot is actually pretty good for a small dude. Not like Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau, oh my God, dude. Like I've seen 10-year-old Adam players who can shoot the puck better than Johnny Gaudreau. But yeah, man, I love me some Kailer Yamamoto. And outside of Edmonton, I don't think he gets talked enough about for how good of a player he is. All right. And now we're going to move on to the Vancouver Canucks. Who do you got for Vancouver?
All right, so this one I picked Niels Hoglander as my underrated pick. All right, I know like he's a rookie and like I've heard his name around, but I feel like most other rookies get talked about more. Like you hear about Lafreniere, you hear about Stutzle, you hear about well Cousins who just scored his first goal like the other day. But I feel like Hoglander has been like one of the rookies that's been playing the most consistent this whole season. Like I think him and Kaprizov have been the best forward rookies like this whole season. And yeah, I never hear him in like well, it's been like what a week and like 2 weeks since like the NHL started, but like in the Calder talks, I never hear like Hoglander like mentioned at all. Like
That's true. And he should be. He should be mentioned there. I've watched him pretty much, I mean, almost every game he's played, and I can definitely agree with that. I'm going with Tanner Pearson. This is a guy, ever since he was in LA, he was playing on that 70s line with Toffoli and Carter, I think it was. He was awesome. And even in Vancouver there, him and Bo Horvat, that's a match made in heaven. I think he's a really good underrated player. Big dude, right? He's a big boy, he can throw his weight around. But as a top six forward, I don't think he gets enough love, maybe even among Canucks fans, for the job that he does for that team. Because it's not just about scoring goals, it's about everything you do in all areas of the ice. And I just think, I know it's like the one of the biggest cliches in hockey, but he plays such a great 200-foot game. That's why I love me some Tanner Pearson.
oh yeah, I like him too. He was in my like definitely my top three for Vancouver, and like he pulled that sweet move on Romanov against the Habs that like, and then he scored like with the backhand top shelf. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw that, but that goal was sick.
Oh, yeah, it was. And lastly, last but not least, the Winnipeg Jets. Who do you got?
All right, for this one, I got Nick Ehlers. So
Yes.
I feel like we never hear about this guy. He scores like I don't know, like ever since his second season in the league, he's been scoring over 20 goals. He's got 125 goal season, 129 goal season, and I feel like we never heard about him because he was always under Line or Kyle Connor or Mark Scheifele or Blake Wheeler, and like they have such a good top six, and I feel like Nick Ehlers is part of that, and like he's never talked about, but he's consistently getting like 20 goals every season.
That is such a good one. That is such a good one. Again, not because he's like so filthy. Like he is honestly so talented, so good, but because nobody talks about him, like you said. And he's honestly one of my favorite players that never gets like any media coverage. Probably, I mean, in Winnipeg, they probably talk about him all day and night, right? I know he had that one bad year, but dude, at the end of the day, this guy's an absolute star and he's
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. I love that pick. For me, I'm going kind of in the same vein. It's Blake Wheeler. And I know you guys know who Blake Wheeler is. He's the captain of the team. He's definitely not underrated amongst his teammates and the Winnipeg faithful. But outside of Winnipeg, how much do you hear about Blake Wheeler? Yeah, that's right. Not very much, man. So
Yeah, no, like
I really do think that this guy doesn't get talked about enough because he does everything for the team. And okay, he's one of the fastest players in the league. Same with Ehlers. Ehlers and Wheeler, both of them. But Wheeler's such a big dude. You'd think he'd move around so slow, man. But he's incredibly quick. And you wouldn't think that way. And he's got a great shot, great hockey sense. And I love me some Blake Wheeler. And I think he's underrated because I don't want to say he's like a top 10 player in the league or anything crazy like that, but he's definitely on the higher echelon in the entire league. And nobody slots him there. That's why I've got Wheeler there.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see him on like the first line for most teams in the NHL, and like I think he doesn't get that recognition like anymore. I think he got it like a couple years ago when he was like more than a point per game, but he's still getting like a point a game and not getting the recognition anymore.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Remember, let me know that you want to see this type of video for the other divisions as well. I'd be happy to make this with Shal here for the other divisions because this was really fun, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I love doing this show.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. A show. Look at hear that. Hear that. We're professional up here now. But yeah, let's do this again. This is gonna be awesome. Give me in the comments down below, guys, your most underrated players in the North Division. And don't say Milan Lucic, but we'll see you in the next one. All right. Peace out.